Hello and welcome to the Recursion Cafe, where we play games from the discard pile. In today's game of Unmatched, we have myself on the left and Paul on the right, and we're trying out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm playing Raphael, the angry one, with 2 movement and a sidekick who is ranged called Casey Jones, and on each of my turns, the first time I lose a combat, I will gain an action, which is exceptionally powerful. And on the right, Paul is playing Michelangelo with 3 movement, and every time Michelangelo attacks or schemes, he draws a card, although the starting and maximum hand size are 3, and the sidekick is April O'Neil, who is also ranged. So this is our first time trying this set, and we don't really have a clue what's in the decks or what we're doing, so we're just flying by the seat of our pants. I think turn 1 I double maneuver because I know Mikey has to get into range and he'll just keep discarding cards if he's not spending them, so we'll just try and get a bit of distance. But not too far, because otherwise we'll have to discard cards if he decides to sit there. Paul will boost in with one of April's schemes on 3 cards and will attack because that's what he's designed to do. It says it right there on the card. So Mikey will attack Casey, who is up front and center. At this point we don't really know how important the psychics are, but they're both ranged, so they seem kind of important. It's a boisterous beatdown into a payback time, so because I defended, Michelangelo will only get 1 action, and payback time is just kind of blank, but it does fully defend that attack. So there we go, and Paul will draw a card. I believe he did draw a card. I'm not sure he did draw a card, but I think we might fix that in a bit. It's a higher into another payback time, and this payback time is not boosted, so it's still just a 2, which means 2 combat damage goes through and then 1 from the ability of Hayar. And then we have to get into a discussion about how Paul should have drawn a card, and then he draws another card for the combat, but then the combat technically hasn't resolved yet, so before he draws the second card, he has to put that back on top, resolve Hayar if he wants to put a card at the bottom of the deck to draw another card, and then draw another card for combat, and which he does, so he should be up to 3, and then he maneuvers, which he should have drawn a card for, but I don't believe he did, but he's still on 3 cards, and I suppose that's the main thing. Yeah, it's a bit confusing, but I'm sure we'll get the hang of it at some point. So we'll move in, and Casey will attack Raph from range, and a crowd control into a cowbunga. So this is ideal. Firstly, I will ping a damage to April because it's an adjacent opposing fighter and I'll draw a card. And I did lose the combat, so therefore Raphael's ability will trigger and Casey will get another shot if he wants to. So yeah, really cool combo potential there. And here is a uncontested slap shot into April O'Neil, just completely wiping her off the board, which is unfortunate. I suppose having a 3 hand size means that your options are limited, especially against fighters that gain actions. So that's a psychic down, which is not a great spot to be in. Mikey will move in and play Let's Go into Relentless, and so Relentless, incredible card, 3 versatile, and it basically cycles itself, and it fights against exhaustion. And the Let's Go will mean Mikey can move out of range, which is helpful for him, and he'll draw a card after his attack as well. Here is a boost with a Psy. It seems weird to boost with a 4 versatile, but the Relentless 3 versatile draw a card just seems way better. Here I attack with Break Something, and Paul perfectly cancels it with Guaranteed Delivery, because his immediately will cancel all of my stuff, so more of my stuff doesn't really matter. However, it will trigger Raphael's ability to gain another action, and so we'll attack again, and this time it's a Turtle Power boosted by a Unbridled Rage for just 7 to the face, which is pretty brutal. And so we're seeing the kind of fragility here of Mikey. I'm sure he has lots of combo potential, but if he's on the back foot, it can be very, very difficult to pop off and to keep afloat, especially with someone who gains actions. Michelangelo is a party dude, so he will recover health and draw a card, and he will consider his next movement, which will be an attack with the last card in hand, which is a boisterous beatdown into a Relentless, and so I'll be fine with that. I'll draw a card, and Michelangelo will gain an action and draw a card, and then be able to maneuver away afterwards. So Mikey's ability is keeping him afloat, and at this point I think I'm down to 2 cards, and so I decide to move away and redraw because Mikey can only get so much card advantage, so that seems alright. He will boost in and attack with the Hayar, and I will just take it because at this point I've taken no damage, so I'll go from 17 to 12, and Paul will get the option to cycle the card in hand if he wants to before he draws the card for Mikey's ability, which he will do. So he'll put it to the bottom, draw a card, and then draw another card because he did a combat, and then he moves and doesn't draw a card. Don't worry about it. I'll boost in and attack with the Let's Do This. Unfortunately, Paul didn't defend. That would have been amazing if he did, because I'd gain the action. But I do draw 2 cards instead. And a lot of Raphael's cards are kind of, you're screwed if you do, you're screwed if you don't, because there's a benefit either way, which is really nice design. So Mikey continues running down into Brooklyn. I forget that each step on this map is like an entire district of New York. And it's a crowd control into a heroes and a half shell, which means Raphael's ability will fire and he will still ping damage and draw a card. Raphael's card abilities are absolutely insane sometimes, and especially during our 5 defense. Can be just brutal. And for the extra action, we'll just keep running in, and it's a turtle power boosted by a Let's Do This for perfectly 6 damage to bring the game to a close. So that was a fast and furious introduction to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles expansion. Thank you for Paul for bringing that along. And so far it seems really fun. All the fighters, I mean, despite my own reservations that the Turtles will be quite similar, they've managed to add personality to each of them. We've only touched the surface. We played another game earlier, and it was pretty awful because neither of us really understood exactly what the fighters were doing, and I imagine that might be the case for the first couple of playthroughs, but hopefully we will improve with more practice. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.